Hey everybody, I'm here today with a good friend of mine, Frank Cohen, and he's going to be showing us a bit of his garden. Tell us what you call it and why you do this, Frank.
Well, we call it the geriatric garden, and that's because the older we get, the harder it gets to be bending over and crawling around on our knees in the dirt, particularly with the lettuces and that. And it's not as big a problem with the taller plants, okra, tomatoes, sometimes even with peppers or eggplant, but when you're dealing with ground growing plants, like us, it gets old. So we started with these, and you can see them later, but these old boxes here 10 years ago, and they worked out pretty well. And this year, we've had a lot of problem with bugs. The larvae get into the dirt, and in Florida, every few years, I think you really got to replace all the dirt. It just gets to be ridiculous. So we decided this year that we were going to convert the ground garden into boxes, and so we built these, and this is our first season with them.
Nice. Yeah. So what percentage of your greens do you get out of here?
100% during green season. We won't buy anything from the store whatsoever. You know, probably the only green I don't grow is, what's that lettuce that's romaine, I don't grow romaine.
Okay.
Because romaine is not as renewable as these are. You grow ahead, you pick it, you're done.
And I know we've been eating pretty much almost every day since I've been, except for yesterday I just had fruit, but we've been eating it every day, and it doesn't look like what you're losing out on.
No, it's crazy. I mean, you know, and we even stagger the tables. That's really important. People oftentimes won't do that. So they'll plant everything all at once, and then it all comes up all at once, and then you can't keep up with it. So like on the arugula, it's starting to go to seed. Some of the lettuce is going to seed, so I got to pick it and get rid of it, you know, and that's a waste. I hate doing that. So what we do is we'll plant a garden or half a table, and then we'll wait, and maybe a month later, I'll plant another half of that table. And then as half of it's coming to maturity, we start to pick it and we start to cut it down, then the other half will come up. Then when it goes to seed, I'll remove it, and then I'll replant that. So you know, again, first year with these tables, but I usually get 3 good plantings a year.
Is that right?
Yeah, and you know, it's Florida, so we grow all year round, and right now people are freezing and under snow. We're growing greens down here. Now these freeze.
Yeah.
We've had 5 freezes so far this year, but they love it. They love it when they freeze.
Do you have anything that's hurt by the freeze or not really?
Oh yeah, you know, I was trying to play around with the tomatoes and they're gone.
Oh yeah.
But absolutely the greens love it. You come out and they're frozen solid, but you can't pick them.
Yeah.
Because they'll die immediately if you do. But you let them wait until the sun comes back out and it warms up. And I mean, it brings out the flavor. Every time they freeze, they get more flavorful.
Once again, I mean, in this small area, as we already said, you've been able to grow all your greens for the season. How many square feet is this area?
You're looking at about 130 square feet of actual growing space. So the tables are about 7 feet long, and they're just a little over 3 feet wide. And the truth is, the only reason for that is it was efficiency. So if you buy a 10-foot board, 2 10-foot boards give you 2 7s and 2 3s, you know, so it was much easier just to set it up that way. And also, when we braced them, it was easier. So I could buy one, for example, 10-foot 4x4, and I could cut into 4 legs at 2.5 feet each, and then be able to raise the tables that way.
And these, is this a 2x12 or right?
Yeah, so these are 2x12s. Now, what's important about this is that these are all pressure treated, and people kind of freak out like, oh my gosh, that poison's going to leach into the soil and you're going to be eating it. And there's two things to know about that. One is supposedly the industry says they don't use toxic chemicals anymore for pressure treating. Whether that's true or not, and you know, if you can't see it, what I did was I put Tyvek, lined all the inside of all the tables with Tyvek, which prevents any of that leaching from coming out. So, I mean, it protects the table as well, you know, from rotting out. But the Tyvek also protects the soil from any potential leaching of any dangerous chemical. But the truth is, I believe that a typical individual, a person, could easily live off of 1 table, and a family, a couple of people off of 2 tables. Because if you look at just what's in this table and that table, let's say, right? I mean, there's enough greens in these to last you the entire fall season if you rotate your plants. Yeah. So I don't want people to get discouraged and think, oh, you know, we got to build all these tables and put all this stuff on. You don't. And you don't need the irrigation system. You got 2 tables, you go out there and you water them once a day, and they do great.
Amazing.
So
what a great thought to think about too, that 2 of these little tables would be enough for all of your greens that you would be getting. Obviously you wouldn't be able to grow all your grains and your potatoes and those kind of things, but your greens at least. And greens are one of the nicest things to have fresh. I mean, there's just nothing like going into your own garden, picking your own greens totally fresh, because none of the nutrition is going to, because I think I've stated it before, that after 24 hours, some of the nutrients can actually, half of some of the nutrients can actually be lost in 24 hours of cutting. So literally coming out and getting these things, you're going to get the most nutrition that you could possibly get from the food that's on your own property.
And we, as we like to put it, we go from the table to the table, you know, and so we'll cut moments before we eat. Sometimes Susan I'll bring in the salad and she'll say, is that all there was? And I go, well, no, that's all that made it to the house. Because I'll just come out here and eat out of this sometimes. It's so delicious, you know, so.
And how long did your last tables last, the ones you used before?
So I built those, the ones in the back there, I built 10 years ago. And I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't use necessarily pressure-treated wood underneath and everything. And I didn't line them, and I didn't put treatment on them. So 10 years later, I'm a little leery about messing with those tables because they weigh a lot of weight. You know, you have a lot of cubic feet of dirt in there, and if that thing falls, you know, you'll be doing your gardening in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're still there. They're still functional. We'll still grow some things in them this year. Now those are a little different. Those are actually end up only to be about close to 8 inches deep.
Okay.
These we constructed differently, so these have almost a full 12 inches of soil.
Wow.
So the success of the plants often has to do with the depth to which the roots are able to go and spread. Yeah. So these are doing better. I think that's part of the reason.
So most all the greens have done well. You said in the past you've had trouble with spinach.
First year, this is the first year that I've had, I mean, look at it. It's just
beautiful.
Beautiful, it's juicy, it's crispy. Oh, it's full of spider webs. I guess I should look at that before I eat it from the garden. And but it's been fantastic this year. This is the first time, and I'm sorry I didn't plant more spinach, but I didn't because my expectation was
they're not going to grow.
It wasn't going to grow, so why waste the table space? But I mean, it came out beautiful this year.
Name several of the plants you have growing.
All right, so I have spinach here. This is one of my favorites, arugula. And these things grow like weeds. I mean, you know, I could take the hedge trimmer, cut all these down, and they'll be back in a week.
Wow.
So I'll have just full arugula salads. The Lola Rosa, I grow all the time. I love Lola Rosa. It's a softer type of lettuce, and I use it as a mixture with the others. This is my red Russian kale. This is my blue kale or curly kale, my favorite. I can live off of kale salads all the time, and I've eaten through all of them. Now,
so this one you do raw fine?
Oh yeah, it does great raw, and for smoothies too. This is great for smoothies, and you can actually freeze this as well, or make kale chips out of it.
Okay.
So this is called mescalin. Oh, look at that guy. Is he cool?
Yeah, spider.
Yeah, beautiful garden spider. We decided to try turnips this year. We'd never done it before.
Wow.
In an experiment. Take a look at
those. Are beauties.
Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
Look at these.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
Yeah. So we had no idea. So you can bet that next year we will have at least a full table, if not two, committed to the turnip. And in addition to this, you'll see that we grow some herbs. I have some fennel, dill, rosemary, some parsley, and we don't grow a lot of it. I think a mistake that a lot of people make is they overgrow the herbs because you just don't use them that much. You know, they're there to flavor enhance the foods, not to be the food.
Yeah, they overwhelm it if you stick a bunch of.
Yeah, I mean, with the exception of parsley, which, you know, is probably one of the highest nutritionally dense foods in the world. This is called heat wave lettuce. This was an experiment for us this year, just to see whether we could grow it. We've never tried it.
Is the heat wave meaning it's supposed to be able to grow in the heat?
It's supposed to be able to grow in the heat, which we haven't had, but it did very well in the cold. But what we may do is we may try to maintain at least one table of lettuce, because come the summertime, then you have to buy all your greens at the store. Yeah. You know.
Can you tell us about your watering system?
Yeah, this is the best. So I don't know if you want to go over and see how this is set up.
Let's do it. Let's look at it.
All the water here is fed through a well. We have we're not sure, we think it's about 90 foot. It's got a 2 horsepower submersible pump. We get about 34 gallons per minute out of it. And
I told him we got 33, so he gets 34.
right. So it feeds everything basically that we have to do. And then what I do is I ran a pipe back to here from there. So the pipe runs underground into this valve box. And what I do, I just have a standard electronic valve that runs through here. And then I run it off of a battery operated timer that sits in this box. So what this does, this just allows me to set the program. So believe it or not, I water 10 minutes in the morning and 4 minutes in the afternoon during the summer, and none in the winter in the afternoon. And that's all it takes to maintain this. I have a hygrometer so I can measure the soil humidity and dampness to make sure it works. And then what this is called a rainbird, I call it. What it does is when it rains out, this will open the circuit, because it's normally a closed circuit, so it won't water. Or if the temperatures get below, I believe it's 34 degrees, it stops the watering at that point also.
Okay.
So that way if we go out of town, we don't have to worry. If we have 3 weeks of steady rain, I don't have to worry about overwatering the plants, because mushrooms and root rot become a problem here with that. So it comes up, we tee it off. These are a flex pipe. Everything is run through on top of the tables, as you can see, and these little tiny heads here is all that it requires, and
they're spraying out,
and it gets plenty of water out that way. So we have valve shutoffs. We have full control over where the water goes and when it goes. If I have empty tables, I'm not going to water those tables anymore.
So you can turn them off easily.
Yeah, you can turn them off easily if you want to.
And this just gives you all the idea that there are a number of different things you can do. Don't give up because you're struggling bending over. Making something like this, I mean, this really is not a lot of space. And so these are some great options that you could try at home. Check out some of our other materials. Look at our links down below. And if you like this video, subscribe, hit the like button. God bless and have a fantastic day.
Thanks.